Yeah, brilliant. So, sorry, Deb, so what was that?
Oh, I've got to run.
Yeah.
But I just want to tell you a bit about our International Women's Day or Women's Month celebration. And I'll be playing some of the greatest songs in history by any...
Sorry, rewind. Not everybody out there knows that you are now one of our DJs.
I'm with the team. I'm with the team.
Yeah, man.
Yes. Circa on Portobello Radio.
Yeah. And you did your first show the other day.
Yeah, when it was Carnival.
Just for Carnival, and that was some of your Carnival favourites. That was you were going to come on the same show where Smokey tips the winner.
I know.
Oh yeah, man, he was really good.
I'm so gutted because I really didn't want that one to win.
Smokey knows his onions.
And he knows his stuff though.
He does. He's so
I've
nice.
got to rate him.
Hang on,
brilliant.
Who did you want to win?
Marshall.
Marshall.
I love
Marshall.
Marshall and Patrice. They had a song called Like Yourself.
Yes, yeah.
And I really thought that was a vibe.
Uh-huh.
But it did win in Tobago. It just didn't win in
Oh,
Trinidad.
you know, Tobago sometimes will.
Okay.
I love Tobago.
Well, that is that's a subject we can explore next Carnival. I didn't even know there was a difference. But back to today. If you want to know about that stuff, go to the Mixcloud, Portobello Radio. You can get Debs' fantastic first, what's it called?
Happy Hour.
Happy Hour set.
It's a thing to make you smile.
And you can get Smokey on episode, I think it's
I just don't know why it's not called Diva Hour, though.
I know, but you know, I was thinking, what can I play that in this gloomy kind of time and the weather's really crap, that raises the temperature on Portobello
Vibes
Radio.
people up, basically.
And we just need to put some good energy out there for 1 hour and just set you up nicely.
So you did the first one to coincide with Carnival. Now, the next one is on tomorrow if you're listening on Friday. It's on in a minute if you're listening on Saturday. And it's also on in a minute if you're listening on Sunday.
Yeah.
It's Happy Hour 2, but it's International Women's Month.
Yeah, so we'll be playing some of the hits across the ages. So starting with people like Calypso Rose and taking you down to the divas of today and just celebrating them, celebrating women in soca. Has to be done. Has to be done.
Sounds amazing, absolutely amazing. And you know what? The last show was so good. I loved it. There was so much energy behind it, and we got a lot of feedback. From the listeners, and they were saying this is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Because we had on the Saturday we had this show where we made a massive feature with Smokey, etc., about the Trini Carnival, and then immediately following it was your show. So they got 3 hours of Trini Carnival on Saturday morning.
Yeah, it was
and
a vibe.
it went clear, man. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
That will
so we
set you
loved
up for
it.
the day.
It went clear.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
We're actually here to talk about the women, though. So you've picked this weekend, you've picked a whole 60 minutes of fabulous soca by fabulous women. What you said you started with?
I mean, I'm a fabulous woman.
You started,
so you know what else am I going to do?
We'll talk about you in a minute, but you started with Calypso Rose.
It's not about you, Diva.
Calypso Rose, was there a long time ago in essentially a male-dominated world.
Absolutely. And we call her the Queen of Soca, and she is someone who mentors a lot of the new artists coming up. She's from Tobago. She is one of the people that are celebrating. But she's really big in Europe anyway. She's been
done
awarded.
a lot of collabs, isn't she, as well?
She's done a lot of them, but she's received so many awards in Europe from music associations and also the only thing she doesn't have is a Grammy.
And the other thing I think is really important about Calypso Rose, she doesn't only sing calypso and soca, she's got a fantastic voice.
She really has.
A range.
Sing soul.
Yeah, soul. Quite a number
she's
of
very
other genres.
versatile.
Yeah, she's really
and she's just got amazing, bubbly. Every time I hear her, I'm happy.
And she's over 80 now, isn't she? She's about
85, and she still gets down and whines on stage.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yes, girl. She's still got it. She's still throwing down a piece of wine. So, yeah. We love Calypso Rose for that.
And also, you mentioned when you came in that you actually nearly forgot that fantastic song, Trial Pan Woman.
I know, you said. So, we were looking up songs written by, men and women. Celebrating women. And I thought, oh my gosh, I know one. What one is it? It's the one I wrote with Alexander the Great. How about that? And actually, it's the story of my life.
Exactly. Do you want to tell the listeners a little bit about what it's like to be a woman, especially because, back in the day in Trinidad, if people don't know, there was a lot of history which meant the pan yard was for men. And women weren't.
It was for men, and there's a lot of stigma around the pan yard because it was considered somewhere where the men had a lack of ambition, let's say. So then it's not a proper job, it's not a proper career, and you don't want your daughter to go out of the pan, man. But then you definitely don't want your daughter to be in the pan yard playing pan.
That's not as bad as being in a rum shop.
It's almost, I think it's the equivalent. It's the equivalent. Only certain, because rehearsals are at night, it's only certain women are out at night. So you are definitely, the Trial of the Pan Woman is about the way that I had been judged over the period of time of my life. And, you know, I've lost a whole husband. It's all right, I got a new one now.
Yay.
But because of my commitment to the music, and I wanted to be seen equally. So, you know, I shouldn't.
And you've taken Pan. You've taken it. We had last time we had you on. You were going to be on Holland Park Opera.
That's right. I've travelled all over the world with Pan. I've taught Pan in Sri Lanka, Poland, Mauritius. What's it called? Tanzania, Malawi.
Okay, cool.
I've been to all of those places with the British Council who supported us to go out and share this skill with people of different countries. Amazing. And it was us representing the British week and the Britain that we know it to be now, which is cool.
Fantastic. And you know what? Every local's favourite night of the year, the Friday before Carnival, down there in All Saints Road, you've got the setup on the 4 trolleys.
Yeah, it's the night before.
And what I love about it is that quite often the bass section, which is the
lot of
hard
women.
banging thing,
it's
the run by the women.
Yeah, I mean, I started when I was learning to play pan. I started with the bass section. I have to say, I was really inspired because as a girl in Trinidad in the 60s and the 70s, literally women didn't play pan really.
How did they let you out the house to go and play pan?
No, I was like, no, exactly. I was,
it was a secret in your house.
No, I was not. No. When I started playing pan over here at the Tabernacle, but this is in England years later.
Where
as an
you
adult.
teach, remember?
Yeah, but the point is, knowing people like Debbie, you know, and the other Debbie and all the other sisters who, you know, and Sweet Sticks, Carly and Sweet Wrist, but yeah, that's it. All the amazing women. It was inspiring. And then, of course, now when you go home in Trinidad, there's loads of women playing. There are whole sections of predominantly women.
Well, you know, in the United Kingdom, we have the Women of Steel.
Yes.
And the Women of Steel are a collective which involves myself, Delphina James, Naveen and Malamufu, and Carlin Sweet Wrist.
Wow.
And so, yeah, we are 4 soloists that do come together as a collective.
Everyone's names are like poetry.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Delphina's name is Panis. We've all got a name, a little nickname, pan-related.
All right, let's have this song, and then...
Yeah.
If you're about...
Well, I was going to say...
We're going to play the Pan Lady.
Trial of the Pan Woman.
I don't even know if we have it. Do we have it on us?
Ooh.
Right, you've wound us up.
No, look what you've done. I'm sure it's there. It's on...
Well, you know what? Play something, and then we'll come back, and then we'll play the Trial of the Pan Woman to get out.
Oh no! Actually, there's a song by Di Alberto called "Pan Woman."
Oh yes, there is.
Yeah, let's have that.
That's a wonderful one written by Ray Holman. Let's
play that.
Here we go. That's how spontaneous we are.
Discussing in a backyard. Woman was the object of discussion. A question was asked by the captain Minard. Who woman is woman for pan man? Some of us decide rich woman, while others reply nice woman. But the iron man made us to understand. Pan woman is the greatest woman in the land. Pan woman. It's the woman with the sweetest hand. When man come out to jam and music say here I am. Woman is woman that plays pan. Decided to join the conversation. He says for years I am wrong steel man, and I do agree with the iron man. My woman does play a tenor, she playing in panorama. A man would be proud of a woman like her. Pan woman, queen of rhythm, goddess of motion. Pan woman, lady tempo, mistress devotion. When man come out to jam and music say here I am. Woman is woman that plays pan. and declare with authority. I know woman like I know me. If you want to find out something, ask me. Every woman have a standard. Some women are good, some are bad. If you're talking about here in Trinidad, pan woman is a pan man, friend and companion. Pan woman is a pan man true inspiration. When man come out to jam and music say here I am. Woman is woman that play pan. Submotion, man, woman, lady tempo, mistress devotion. When man come out to jam and music say here I am. Woman is woman that play pan.
Oh, amazing. We've got to thank Pandiva. She's actually left the building, but yeah, round of applause for Pandiva.
Yeah, thank you, Pandiva. Pandiva can be found, she's obviously a local.
She's gone and not forgotten because she's back again tomorrow.
Yeah, but she's gone to teach at the Tabernacle. If you or your kids want to get involved in playing pan, and, I can tell you, it's quite exciting when you get to the high levels of it, and it's also...
But even just learning it, because I just started learning it, from a real beginner, and it's actually great fun.
It's an adventure in culture.
It really is
as
fun.
much as it is learning an instrument, you're learning about that, you're learning about rhythm, you're learning about tonal value.
Who's now in Korea, my younger daughter learnt pan at the hands of Matthew himself.
Amazing.
At Oxford Gardens.
Wicked.
Well, my two daughters did pan when they were like 4 and 6 or something as well, at the Tabernacle with Mangrove, and up to now they have a fantastic relationship with all the the Mangrove crew, because once you play with these people, you're kind of part of the crew.
Of course, it's part of the family.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
The family.
Love it. So yeah, if you want
CarnivalVillage.com, I think they will point you in the direction of lessons, and there are also pages on.
Is it
that
.com
website.
or .org? Can't remember. But Carnival Village Trust. Carnival Village Trust is the one that you need to search up, and on there you'll see a link to go for pan lessons. So
and also links to everything to do with carnival, the arenas, and everything.
Yeah.
So if you have any requests, listeners, we're trying to play songs today as much as possible in praise of women, celebrating them and revering the wonderful creatures that we are by men. So, please, what's that
number? That is the curveball that you threw us this morning.
Yeah,
Let's have songs by men about women. I mean, being the regular misogynist like every other man.
You're not.
I can't think of any songs.
Yes, you can, Piers. You've got a huge collection of them.
Exactly.
Greg, how can people ask for these songs?
Oh, you know what?
We've got a number, haven't
they
we?
can get us on the WhatsApp, man.
What
Definitely.
number is that? What's the WhatsApp
I have no
number?
idea. I'm going to let Piers do
You can
this
send
bit.
us a voice message, 07822 002 955. You can send us a Twitter.
You can catch us on all the social. Twitter is Portobello Radio.
At Portobello Radio.
Portobello Radio. Instagram is portobello.radio.
Yeah. And Facebook is Portobello Radio.
Is Portobello Radio again. Yeah, man. So, search us up on all the platforms. We haven't got ourselves a TikTok yet, but that's soon come.
Yeah.
Or maybe not, I don't know. It's one of those platforms I really can't get my head around. I really can't. And I'm scared of it, to be fair. Absolutely scared of it.
Well, I think the TikTok's almost like people doing little videos. So actually, Piers should be really good at it coming out of the film industry. Well, in fact, so do you. In fact, you two should be brilliant. I'm the one who have a problem with TikTok. I don't have a film background.
TikTok.
I like that. It's that minty social media platform.
Let's launch our own.
Brilliant.
Anyway, it's International Women's Month, so we're not going to get overly prescriptive about it, but we do invite you to send in your recommendations for someone to be inducted to in the Portobello Radio Hall of Great Women Fame.
Yeah, of course.
If we still remember at the end of the month.
Any suggestions throughout the month of March 2023 will be really
anyway,
appreciated.
you're going to pick up a woman.
I'm going to pick up one woman.
Oh, wow, she's
partly
a good one.
because I promised this book to Isis, and I'm going to turn it into a feature on the radio.
Okay.
I read this book was hanging around my house. I think my wife read it. It's called Homegoing by, I think it's Yazi. It's an amazing story of two half-sisters who get separated, not quite at birth, in about 1760.
Set in Ghana, because the name Yah is definitely Ghanaian.
Set in the Gold Coast as it is at the beginning of this book, Ghana as it is at the end. And one of them ends up marrying a slaver, and the other one gets transported to the States. It's beautifully written.
So one sister is kidnapped and enslaved in America, and the other one marries an enslaver.
Yeah, they're both from a similar background, but they are split between Ashanti and Fante, so they're involved. They get kind of lost in that little war. One is married off to her slaver husband, and there's a very slightly trite ending, and it's all very beautiful. But this woman, Yazi, she's an American Ghanaian woman, and has written this beautiful book that even an old male chauvinist pig like myself, and I
is that what your daughters and your wife call you?
No, they do a bit, but anyway. So anyway, that's for you, Isis.
Thank you, Piers. Are we doing it officially online? The book is being handed
this is
over.
our Oprah moment, if you don't mind.
So if you... I've gone into left field to offer up Yazi as our very first contender for the Hall of Female Fame.
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Great choice. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Look forward to hearing more feedback about that book when Auntie Isis reads it.
In fact, you know what? We could also, alongside like famous women, but also maybe amazing books written by women.
Yeah.
Because there are some spectacular books
aren't they just? Yeah.
Anyway, do you have another tune lined up?
I certainly do. Lots and lots and lots of celebration of women.
This one goes out to all my women, my strong women. So amazing how this world was made. I wonder if God is a woman. The gift of life astounds me to this day. I give it up for the woman. She's the a constant wind that fills my sail. Oh, that woman. With a smile and a star, she'll protect you like a child. That's a woman. She'll put a smile upon her face and take you to the higher place. So don't you underestimate the strength of a woman. Strength of a woman. Woke up this morning, I got up with a scent of a woman. Just picture if you would what life would be. Ain't much good without a woman. She can nag and be a constant pain. Oh, that woman. Those hips, she's got me whipped, and it's just too hard to resist. What a woman. Hey, she'll put a smile upon her face and take you to the higher place. So don't you underestimate the strength of a woman. Of a woman. Tender lips that so sweet, gentle where she softly speaks. Such an angel when we meet. God bless the ground beneath her feet. She can take you on a high, be a comfort when you cry. But if you look into her eyes, you'll see the strength of a woman. Strength of a woman. She'll put a smile upon her face and take you to the higher place. So don't you underestimate strength of a woman.
Yeah, of course, that was Shaggy with Strength of a Woman, and of course we know, don't we, men, how strong women are.
Yeah, we do.
Strong and beautiful. I mean,
we're
our
absolutely
lovely
painfully aware of it.
Our lovely Khalid over there showed me a picture of his mother and his sister. They were absolutely gorgeous, beautiful women.
Amazing.
You know
we're lucky. We're very lucky.
You've all got beautiful women in your lives.
Yeah, man.
Can I throw in another slightly random contender to our international Portobello Radio Hall of Female Fame? From North Kensington Library yesterday, I borrowed a very slight book by Anthony Bourdain, the well-known cook who wrote Kitchen Confidential.
Oh, he's the one that topped himself, isn't he?
Kind of, yeah. It's about Typhoid Mary. Typhoid Mary, who is a horrible archetype that, immediately sends fear into your veins, particularly since COVID. This book was actually written before COVID. But he makes a very sympathetic case for Typhoid Mary, Mary Malone. And that
why was she called Typhoid Mary?
Yeah, I'd like to ask that.
I think
as
you
well.
need to say.
I thought everyone knew about Typhoid Mary.
Never heard
Typhoid Mary was a woman who was she was of Irish extraction, very poor, worked in New York in the late 19th century, early 20th century. In 1906, they discovered that everywhere she went, she left a trail of people dying of typhoid because she had it in her guts. She was a carrier.
But she was immune to it.
She was immune.
Right.
Yeah.
And she ended up being banged up for about 30 years on this island in the middle of the East River in New York, and it's a huge issue of civil liberties and how far public health can legislation or the protection of the general population can be held.
So the
as
public interest versus the individuals, right? Freedom.
And oddly enough, it was written before COVID. Anyway, he makes a fantastic case for her. Mary Mallon, Typhoid Mary, of Irish extraction, poor New York stock, got banged up and demonized against all forms of civil liberties. The interesting thing, because it's Anthony Bourdain, is he describes in some detail how great a chef she must have been, because that period in the 1890s.
So hang on, was she spreading the typhoid because she was cooking amazing dishes and everybody was eating her food and getting typhoid? Is that what was happening?
That's what was happening.
Wow.
Got it. Right, we finally, 5 minutes later, got to the bottom of that one. I like it. Brilliant. God rest her soul. So,
all right, so Typhoid Mary, Yar Gyasi, they are in our pot.
They're in the hat. Oprah books of the week.
I think I'm going to probably mention Mary Seacole at some point, because I did mention her briefly on the bus tour. So maybe I'll mention a little bit about more. But I think we need to throw her in.
Yeah, of course.
What about a tune then?
All right, I'm going to play something that everybody knows and loves.
Hardly express my mixed emotions at my thoughtlessness. After all, I'm forever in your debt. And woman, I will try to express my inner feelings and thankfulness for showing success.
There you go, that's a nice song.
You can't argue with that, can you?
You can't argue with that. Talking of the woman he was probably talking about, Yoko Ono, Jason Boone, who's the guy who sells flowers outside Queen's Park, did a set for us the other day. It's on Mixcloud, and he has an amazing remix of a tune with this Yoko Ono vocals over the top of it. So I urge you every week to go to Mixcloud/Portobello Radio, find out what we've been doing. Our last show, the one we did with Danielle through the lens of Grenfell and various other people the other day, that's done very well. So we urge you to keep in touch with us. If you don't like what's on the loop, check out the Mixcloud. Oh, thank goodness our underscore is back, because Gregsy's back from
Gregsy
outside.
has returned.
Yeah, man, I have.
Gregsy in the
Hello.
house. Where were you, Gregsy?
I was
We were
outside
missing you,
catching
man.
some fresh air. Oh, I'm glad I missed. Marvellous, absolutely marvellous. Did I catch you guys talking about Grenfell? Did I,
No,
Kate?
we were talking about Danielle's podcast.
She's amazing.
Through the lens of Grenfell.
As is Alistair and the
Alistair McIntosh,
and
yeah.
the Housing Network,
Housing Quality Network.
Housing Quality Network. That's the lot.
But that's not what we're here to talk about.
For Piers and his
We're in a
what's
new
it
month.
called? Photographic, or what is it?
Memory.
Memory. Yeah.
Yeah, well, just remembering all the words. It's brilliant, absolutely
We're
brilliant.
in a new month. It's International Women's Month.
It is, isn't
and
it?
we are celebrating women. We are inviting you to send in messages,
Nominations
suggesting
for women.
nominations. Gregsy,
Yes, darling.
have you got any women you would put forward to the Portobello Radio International Global Millennial
Best Woman in the World
Gen
Award.
Z Women of the World Award?
I don't know. I mean, apart from my mum, of course.
I knew
Big
you were
up
gonna
to
say-
Gregsy's
Yeah,
mum.
you know that. You know that. There are loads of women that I've loved and respected over the years in the spotlight. Most of which are dead now, which is very, very sad. Nina Simone's absolutely one of my all-time heroes. I completely and utterly adore that
Are
woman.
you on the right show, mate?
Yeah, you know that. You know that. But there you go. I don't know who else inspires me at the moment. I mean, I guess Lauryn Hill has always been a real poetess.
Oh, Miss Hill, come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
give it to
yeah.
Miss
She's
Hill.
really big. She's high up the list, man. Very, very high up the list. So no, there are a lot of really strong women out there. It's brilliant.
Well,
Absolutely.
we've got a couple
Right,
coming
right.
on later on the show. We have Ruby Carney,
Oh, cool.
who is from the Irish Cultural
Cultural
Centre, where
Yeah.
we do a regular show called Bright Side of the Road.
Absolutely.
And she does a night at the Irish Cultural Centre, which is up and coming contemporary Irish music.
Uh-huh.
She has two fantastic artists this weekend. One is called Tommy Kay. The other one has an Irish name, which I'm ashamed to say I can't pronounce, but I'm sure.
Now,
Ruby
look,
will.
hang on. Rewind, stop. The world needs to stop. Piers Thompson, one thing, I mean, of the many things I can big him up for, is his ability to pronounce the most difficult names, you know, all from Eastern Europe and all the accents, and you are fantastic. But an Irish name, that you carry an Irish
Yeah.
passport, the one name you can't
I
pronounce.
find
It's-
the Irish name.
It's shocking, isn't
It's
it?
shocking.
It's shocking.
I
Absolutely
thought
shocking.
there was no name you couldn't
Right,
you
as
couldn't
your
pronounce.
penance next week, you've got to come on smelling of estrogen and wearing a miniskirt.
Yeah.
No,
Anyway, if you
I
want to
think, I
know
think
more
we should
about
make him
that-
speak Gaelic. Conduct
Oh,
our
wow,
show in
yeah.
Gaelic.
All right, yeah.
Or
Well,
Gaelic,
I
depending
do
how you
have my
pronounce
new
it.
best friend, Podrick Olinchik,
Oh, yeah.
who is
Is he
on
teaching
the most
you-
recent podcast
Is
of
he
Bright
teaching
Side
you
of the
some
Road.
Gaelic or Gaelic, whichever way around we should pronounce
Yes,
it?
he teaches me. I forget it about
Is
7
it
seconds
Kiad
later.
Mafalti or Siad Mafalti?
Have no idea, but if you guys want
Welcome.
to learn the beautiful language of Irish Gaelic, then do get yourself in contact with the Irish Cultural Centre down there in
Yep.
Hammersmith, because they've got some fantastic teachers. They're incredibly learned when it comes to that side of life.
Yeah, actually, if you learn Gaelic down there, it costs 50 quid a term, and you actually get accreditation at the University of Liverpool.
Amazing.
That's
So
actually
that gives you a
fantastic.
student card. So, you know, even if you just, I think you do have to turn up for the lessons, but even if you
Yeah,
just
of
do it
course.
for the
But hang on,
discounts,
50 quid a term is actually really good.
blinder.
That's really cheap.
Blinder.
there is a hell of a waiting list. Anyway, on with the show. We've got Ruby. Sorry, the other guest coming on a bit later is Talitha Wing,
Uh-huh.
really up and coming hot actress who
Okay.
is going to be doing this event at the playground involving the communities, particularly from Lancaster West.
Oh, cool.
So we'll hear more about that.
Wonderful.
Play another one.
Yeah.
Let's keep celebrating women, tunes by men. It's a bit of the Irish now.
In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheeled her wheelbarrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She was a fishmonger, and sure 'twas no wonder, for so were her father and mother before, and they wheeled their barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh. She died of a fever, and sure no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels her barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have an International Women's Month and not play something by some of our lovely Irish brethren.
Indeed, absolutely. Well done indeed. That was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Molly Malone. Love that, absolutely love that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't tell you who the real Molly Malone was. I know you both look at me like I was Wikipedia, but
you started it.
Is Molly Malone based on a real character? Is it fictional? I mean, there's the statue in Dublin, which I've seen, obviously, and you know, but I just wondered if she was real, or, you know.
Well, good question. Who knows? We're going to have to ask our Irish cousins, because this one in the room don't know.
Well, luckily, Ros Scanlon, the programmer at the ICC, will be on the show in 2 weeks on St. Patrick's Day.
No way.
To answer all these questions.
Oh, I love it.
Oh.
Bank them up. And
if you have any St. Patrick's Day questions, the usual Portobello Radio or Portobello.radio.
I have an interesting take on St. Patrick's Day, so Gregsy will kind of be into this. So
will I?
I discovered
You're roping me in on your stuff, man.
It involves crystals, right?
Shut up, Piers.
No, probably
not.
So
basically, it involves the followers of traditional indigenous pagan spiritual systems.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So,
you got my attention.
Right. The idea that St. Patrick chased the snakes out of Ireland. Apparently, there were never snakes in Ireland. It's a metaphor for chasing the pagans. And the pagan practitioners, they were deemed the snakes, and that's what they're really talking about.
Oh,
so
how
actually, because that's the ushering in of Christianity.
Yeah, of course.
So that, looking into that, I was like, wow. Just like when I heard that, I was like, boom, light bulb went
sense.
on.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Of course.
It's pretty much proven by archaeology or geology or something like that. That the post-glacial whatever, there were no snakes in Ireland. There are no fossils, no nothing.
Really interesting.
So
they were definitely chasing the
St. Patrick was a muscular establishment Christian.
You know, we've got little adders in the UK, and we've got slow worms as well. They're all forms of snake.
Grass snakes.
I've got a wonderful photograph of an adder when I was in Scotland.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely
But
beautiful.
apparently there were never snakes in Ireland, so the metaphor
Really? And so these...
so St. Patrick chasing the snakes is about him ushering in Christianity and getting rid of the pagan, traditional Celtic...
No, it all makes perfect sense. I'm just surprised that if we had these smaller species of harmless snake in the UK, but it never got across to Ireland.
Didn't swim?
No.
Maybe, you see, that could be a band, Snakes Can't Swim.
Which is a lie. I think
there's a movie
No,
there's snakes can't swim, snakes in a car.
Snakes on a plane. Snakes on a plane.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Shall we move on from that
No,
subject?
well, I was going to pick you up. I
yeah.
think St. Patrick was quite a muscular establishment Christian.
Yeah.
Member of the Roman Catholic Church.
Yes.
Not unlike yourself. And I get a hint that you are standing up in this conversation for the precepts.
No, you're a bit like Piers Morgan, and you're finding news where it ain't. But
They're both called Piers.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Actually, I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, man. Yeah, no. Maybe there's some Freudian crap going on there or something. I have no idea. Let's face it. St. Patrick wasn't even Irish. So, we can go and run with all of those wonderful tales. And some are going to get picked up on and researched correctly, and some aren't. And we'll end up with so-called myth.
No, we love myth.
Yeah.
Shall we have a tune? Our next guest, Ruby, is
Ruby's
here.
in the house. Mental. Absolutely mental.
Let's go for it.
Yeah, man. Let's have it.
Which version
I
of
don't
this
know.
one?
The big version. Yeah.
The best version.
Come on.
I've got sunshine on a cloudy day. When it's cold outside, I've got the month of May. I guess you said, what can make me feel this way, my girl, my girl, talking about my girl. I've got so much honey, the bees envy me. I've got a sweeter song than the birds in the trees. Well, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl, talking about my girl. Yeah, I don't need no money, fortune or fame. I got all the riches, baby, one man can claim. Well, I guess you say, what can make me feel this way, my girl, talking about my girl. I've got sunshine on a cloudy day with my girl. I've even got the month of May with my girl.
Yeah, that is My Girl by The Temptations. I'm
Well, there, you know your music.
disappointed you didn't pick Otis Redding. But
You know
anyway.
what? That's what I said to you. Which version? And I thought to myself, let's go with the Temptation.
Anyway, we're delighted to welcome Ruby Carney. Hi, Ruby.
How are you doing?
Lovely to have you here. Usually you're in the studio over at the ICC,
Yes,
where
yeah.
we do Bright Side of the Road.
Exactly. I hopped on a train and was here in about
Yeah.
10 minutes, so
The
that's nice.
Hammersmith
So
and
the tubes
City
are
Line.
working there.
Yeah, they're doing okay today.
Yeah, we love the Hammersmith and City Line. Apart from your other things at the ICC, Irish Cultural Centre, Hammersmith. You present a night once a month.
I do, yeah.
The ICC is known for trad music.
Yeah.
But that's not what you do.
That's not what I do. I run a contemporary London and Irish music night called Glór Nua, which does run every month. It's every second Thursday of the month. And it's all about celebrating up-and-coming musicians, early career musicians, kind of new musicians on the scene. We've had a few people that have been around for a bit as well, including people like Junior Brother, which was really special to have at the event. And it's just a big celebration of all different types of music, so not just Irish traditional music, but we've had some pop, we've had some folk, we've had a little bit of rock and roll as well, which is fun.
Was that Irish rock and roll?
It was Irish rock and roll. It was
Cool.
James Orr, so it's like a good kind of indie rock feel that we had. Yeah.
The second Thursday is coming up next Thursday.
It is.
So it's, get on board, people. Who have you got on this week, this
We
month?
have an extra special one because it's the day after International Women's Day in the UK, the 9th of March. And we've got Tamike, who is a Dublin neo-soul singer, incredible musician. Her voice is just got so much clarity in it and so much like fruitfulness. It's wonderful. And we've also got Shiva. Shiva is a combination of a jazz folk singer who sings in English and Irish Gaelic as well. And they're from County Clare, so we have a big Irish night on the 9th of March.
That's fantastic. And one of the interesting things, because it kind of, well, maybe not, it comes from London. It's kind of it's not purely Irish. It's quite ethnically diverse.
It
Jeanette,
is, yeah.
But is it
Murphy-
Irish heritage? So, like, if they're like in London, do they have some kind of Irish roots or?
Not everybody does. We've had a couple of people that are just London-based. But quite a few people do have connections to Ireland because obviously Ireland had a massive amount of migration across history, particularly into the Americas and into England.
A lot of the kind of folk music and country
Yeah.
music and even bluegrass and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
again, the pub where I was born. He played it from the night time to the peaceful early morn. He soothed the souls of psychos and the men who had the horn, and they all left very happy in the morning. But Jimmy didn't like his place in this world of ours, where the elephant man brought storm in his necks and he had too many powers. So I sad to see the grieving of the people that I'm leaving, and he took their oath for God knows in the morning. We walked into the station in the rain, we kissed him as we put him on the train, and we sang him a song of times long gone, though we knew that we'd be seeing him again. Sad to say I must be on my way, so buy me beer and whiskey cause I'm going far away. I'd like to think I'll be returning when I can to the greatest little boozer and to Sally McLennan. The years went by and times have changed, I grew to be a man. I learned to love the virtues of Sid Sally McLennan. I took the cheers and drank the beers and crawled back home at dawn. I ended up a barman in the morning. I plied the pump and took the hump and watered whiskey down, and took the booze and horses to the men and drank the brown. I heard the sight of Jimmy's making money far away, and some people left for heaven without warning. We walked into the station in the rain, we kissed him as we put him on the train, and we sang them a song of times long gone, though we knew that we'd be seeing them again. Sad to say I must be on my way, so buy me beer and whiskey cause I'm going far away. I'd like to think I'll be returning when I can to the greatest little boozer and to Sally McLennan. When Jimmy came back home he was surprised that they were gone. He asked me all the details of the train that they went on. Some people they are scared to croak, but Jimmy drank until he choked, took the road for heaven in the morning. We walked into the station in the rain, and we kissed him as we put him on the train, and we sang him a song of times long gone, though we knew that we'd be seeing him again. Sad to say I must be on my way, so buy me beer and whiskey cause I'm going far away. I'd like to think I'll be returning when I can to the greatest little boozer and to Sally McLennan.
Yes.
That is the Pogues. That's Sally what?
McNamara.
Who was she?
I don't know who she was actually, but she was celebrated by the Pogues. So there you go, men celebrating women, keeping that theme going.
That's what me and Greg's here all about. Ruby, you said while that was on, Pogues in fact were a big influence on you. Is that because you're a Londoner of Irish extraction?
Definitely. It was the greatest my dad described it as like a combination of himself and my mum, because my mum was a punk and the Pogues were really into punk music, and my dad was London Irish, so it was kind of like for them it represented a combination of their two upbringings in one. Yeah, and we used to drive around East Ham in the car in our little Ford Focus playing a cassette tape of the Pogues, which is some good memories there for me.
But let's face it, if you like good music, you like the Pogues.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you like good music?
Do you like good music?
You work at the Irish Cultural Centre as well as performing there. Can you tell people about it? Because we didn't really know about it until we started doing the show with Shay and Roz. Yeah. It's a lovely little outpost, isn't it? Right on the roundabout. I mean, if anyone has come into Hammersmith roundabout off the M4, you'll have sat at the traffic lights looking in to this fabulous scene. Tea dances.
There's so much on offer there, and it's growing continuously, and the different kinds of offerings that we've got in terms of Irish culture and broader culture is incredible. There's a big roster of music acts, plays. We've got a great play coming in April actually, which is about the lack of sex education for women in Northern Ireland, called Two Fingers Up. It won a Fringe first. So there's some great stuff coming to the ICC across a broad spectrum of different arts and culture. Yeah, because
there's do-it-yourself stuff like the open mic, the poetry. On the last edition of Bright Side the Road, we had an amazing poet, an old gentleman called John Hurley, who almost broke our hearts.
Honestly,
reciting poems of loss about, he didn't mention it, but about his lost wife, about lost customs that he missed. Yeah, and the tea dance, the jam session, the trad session on a Friday.
Yeah, always lively on a Friday night. If you're ever stuck for anything to do, come to the ICC on a Friday night and you'll get a good show.
Finishes.
I've been and I've enjoyed it. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Not only that, they got the best Guinness in London down there. They really do.
The minute the show ends,
where do you
get
get
on
your
the
Guinness
Hammersmith
from?
and City
Guinness
line.
from, I think all the Guinness comes from Dublin now.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's
you get the
changed.
Park
real
Royal
stuff.
The real
closed.
stuff,
No,
yeah.
Park Royal closed a long
Yeah.
time ago.
Oh, so you get the
Sadly.
proper stuff. I mean, I remember when I went
It's
to
ruined
Dublin
the
to the
canal
Guinness
in-
factory,
Yeah.
and the Guinness just tasted like velvet. It was so beautiful. I was like, wow.
What's even greater is the smell of the malt, the roasting malt.
In fact, my daughter was
used-
only like about 14 again at the time, my eldest daughter. She went with me and my friend and her son, and they gave them each a half pint of Guinness.
Well, it's got a lot of iron in it,
Yeah,
so there's
it's
some
good for
health
kids.
in there.
Good for kids.
Well, apparently it's good for you if you lived in the 30s.
Yes.
So, Ruby, the last thing we need to tell people is Glornua, which has the fantastic Shiva and the fantastic Tamika
Yeah.
playing next weekend, next Thursday, sorry. You have a fantastic deal.
I do. I have deals for students. If you're a student, it's only £5. But the extra special deal is you can get a group ticket for 4 people for £10.
Oh, wow.
So that's only £2.50 each.
Yeah.
You'd be a fool
Yeah.
to miss out on that opportunity.
Absolutely.
Literally, even if you're a student. But
Even if you're a student.
even if you're not a maths student, you can
Yes.
work out.
If you can get 3 of your mates to join you, then it's only going to cost you £2.50 each, which is a blind absolute blinder. There
It's
you
less
go.
than a pint.
Yeah. Oh, much less. You get 3 pints out of.
Greg, rather brilliantly, I don't know if any of you saw the fabulous pictures on social media of Greg cycling the equipment back in the dark.
Yeah, that was a
from
Shay
the
special.
ICC.
That was it. He waited around the corner after we finished the show and we'd all done all our chatting outside. He waited
not
around the corner
only
for
is
me
he
to come
director-
by. Literally.
He's
Literally,
director of
brilliant.
logistics, he's
Yeah.
director of IT, he's also director of archive, and you found something of Ruby.
Oh, I
so
certainly have, yeah, man. Yeah, from last year's International Women's Day down at the Irish Cultural Centre in Hammersmith. We have you reading some poems with your amazing mate, Patrick. Or do we call him Patricia?
Malicious Patricius is
Yeah,
his
there you
producer
go.
name.
Malicious Patricius on the keys behind you, which is it just makes for a spectacular.
Ruby, will you introduce
piece.
it?
Yes, of course. I think this is a combination of 2 poems that I wrote, B-side and Curbside Memories. B-side is also available on my SoundCloud, which is Ruby K, as a song, because I often translate some of my poetry into song.
Oh,
More
cool.
to come
Yeah.
this year.
Amazing.
Brilliant.
Absolutely
Thank
amazing.
you, Ruby.
Here we go. Here we go.
And we'll see you next on the edition of Bright Side of the Road that comes out on the 16th of March, the night before St. Patrick's Day.
Yes,
Thank
indeed,
you.
brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And remember that
Thanks.
we've just released the podcast of that, so of the last Irish Cultural Centre show. So yeah, go onto our Mixcloud stream and check out Bright Side of the Road.
Fabulous.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Here you go, Ruby Kearney in the house. Love it, absolutely love it.
The memories of being a kid and home and what that means. I like riding the train backwards. It mirrors how I view my dreams. On the spot running, time feels fractured. Pull the thread of the broken seam. Forward falling feels too boring. I'd rather close my eyes. Only then do the waves start forming. Lost my grip and gonna trip on the hold by the wayside. Ready my broken bones for the deep dive. But I can only rock a bridge to a B-side. Temperamental only strikes at the right time. I'm nothing special, only getting out what is on my mind. Hesitantly holding out for the rewind. Soul searching on the ground just isn't meant for me. See, if I was never raised by the east side, then who the hell would I be? Could have come up in the cul-de-sac, somewhere by the sea. Semi-detached, rich kids mumble rap on middle-class memories, can of Tisky in hand, and new Hirachis on their feet. Country life is sweet, but I know where I'd rather be. Wasn't much, but call it love, turn council flats to a castle just off the A13. But I can hardly rock a bridge to a B-side. Temperamental, never strikes at the right time. I'm nothing special, only getting out what is on my mind. Hesitantly holding out for the rewind. 'Cause I ain't got the time to linger on it. To try and decipher the reason from the rhyme. That look you gave me sent tingles down my spine. Though I'm thinking lately that maybe it's the night. With subtle reassurance strokes reaching around the back of the driver's seat. Keep the breeze with the windows down, roundabout nod to the sound of tires blazing down the A13. Take me back to crescent moons, following the Ford Focus. Eyes fixated, wide open. £2 holding tight-fisted, cash out on a bubblegum million. It's after 8 and I'm minted. Pick the gravel out the grazed knee again. Sun setting, handshake on the Yu-Gi-Oh business. 2 steps back to the old house, kicking up a fossilized NOS canister. Sitting on the curb with a brain liquor. Johnny spits a side splitter, securing the sticky sweet win of her toothless grin. But now, the gaps are filled in. Shoes are getting bigger. No longer tucked into bed, but I'll be home for dinner.
There you go, that is Ruby Carney from Glornua at the Irish Cultural Centre. You get tickets at irishculturalcentre.co.uk. That's next Thursday. And you can listen to our most recent podcast from the Irish Cultural Centre, Bright Side of the Road, Season 3, Episode 7 on mixcloud.com/Portobello Radio.
Love it. He didn't even take a breath for that one. I love it. Absolutely love it. So well versed. Beautiful. Keep it locked here. www.
Because he had a good education, innit? You
No,
can
it's
talk
'cause
proper,
Probably not.
innit?
No.
I've got a good diaphragm.
You can talk proper, innit?
Now, Isis, bizarrely, we haven't asked you which women you would nominate to the Portobello Radio International Global Universal Hall of Female Fame.
I mean, it's really difficult, to be honest.
No, just throw in any. Mary Seacole we haven't mentioned.
I mean, Mary Seacole we could put in because she obviously, you know, her impact on nursing. So people who don't know, Mary Seacole was a Jamaican woman. She was actually mixed heritage, and she wrote the tales. Was it the Something Tales of Mary Seacole, which is a really seminal book.
Yeah.
And basically she was a nurse, or doctress as they called it in Jamaica.
Oh,
and
cool.
she decided that she wanted to come over. Obviously Jamaica was a colony of England. She wanted to go and support the troops in the Crimean War.
Okay.
So she made her way to England and went to sign up to be a nurse, and basically because of racism, you know, the big R, they didn't want to give Mary Seacole a chance. They wouldn't take her on as a nurse and send her to Jamaica. So she got her money together and she went of her own free will. She made her way over to the Crimea and she served as a nurse. She actually went first to, I can't remember exactly which country it was, on the continent of South America. She was out there for a while. Then she made her way to the Crimea and she basically nursed many of the men. And people say that she was, you know, she's the woman that should have got the real accolade.
Yeah, she was better than Florence Nightingale.
She was more of a people's nurse and she was more committed. And, you know, she then came back to England and went back to Jamaica. But she wrote an extraordinary story of her travels. And one of the things that I really enjoyed reading about was this idea of Mary Seacole was quite a big woman. She was quite full-bodied woman in very brightly coloured, you know, as Caribbean women would, you know, very brightly coloured clothing, in a hat, walking through the Crimea, and how people would look at her like, oh my God. And I could just see it, you know, it was kind of similar, I suppose, in London in those days where people didn't wear so much colour and it was quite dowdy or whatever. And there's this African Caribbean woman, big, dressed in bright colours, strutting through. I know, she must have been a sight. Yeah.
Yeah,
fantastic.
It's an odd story. I mean, Mary Seacole luckily nowadays
She has been
her
celebrated.
contribution has been celebrated.
And she's actually, there's a
it's
little
kind-
park, just to say, if you're on Scrubs Lane as you're going towards Harlesden, on the left-hand side, just as you go over the bridge, if you go down the steps to the canal, there's a little area that is dedicated to Mary Seacole. There's a park there for her. And she also...
She's got a statue. She's got a statue.
No, she's got a
somewhere
statue.
Like
No, hang on,
Trafalgar
hang on.
Square.
Settle down,
All right,
Piers.
sorry.
Let the experts speak. So there's the Mary Seacole Park, which is near to us. Then there is the Mary Seacole statue that's at St. George's Hospital, the one in Westminster, on Westminster Bridge Road.
Yeah.
And then there is her cemetery. She's buried in the Catholic section of the Kensal Green Cemetery.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, I should go and check her out next time I'm up there.
Sisters M. Tefnut and I have been a number of times to see the grave.
It's a well-marked grave.
Yes, it's
Brilliant.
really well marked. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I can send you a picture so you can find it.
Yeah, that'd
so
be great.
there's quite
Thank
a good
you.
connection between North Kensington in the sense of obviously there's a boundary now. It's technically in Brent, but it's all part of the local area.
Of course
really.
it is. Of course it is.
One
Yeah.
of the
Now
things
you may
that-
speak, Piers.
One of the things that interests me about Mary Seacole...
That did tell him, though.
One of the things that interests me about Mary Seacole is the way that her reputation has kind of been revived through primary schools, because primary school...
Because the curricula, they put that on there, you mean?
Well, they were so desperate to find heroes, particularly female black heroes, that Mary Seacole, at first glance was the only one they could find.
Well, I think it was at one point they were really trying to look also at celebrating nurses. So, for example, our friend of the show, Nubian Jack, big shout out to Jack.
Yeah.
He did installation. Now I can't remember. It's at near the Royal School of Nursing or something, which is a tribute to the African Caribbean women who were nurses. And there's a big movement around that and celebrating their involvement and their support. Because obviously they came from the Caribbean, they came from Africa, which were all colonies of this country, and they came here and they did a lot of fantastic work. So
absolutely.
And of course the Windrush generation, those nurses. I mean, they were literally the Caribbean people that what's his name? Oh, the irony. What's his name? Rivers of Blood.
Oh, stupid Enoch.
No, Enoch Powell.
So Enoch Powell was actually health minister. He went to the Caribbean and said, "Oh, we want you to all come, to come and help." I mean,
that is a sweet irony.
Isn't it an irony? He went and asked Caribbean people to come, and then to come, and then he complained when we came. So
Yeah, it's called popularism, isn't it?
Innit, mate?
Anyway, keep in touch with us if you have anyone who you would like to nominate.
And of course, Claudia Jones. Because we have a plaque where we're sitting at the wonderful Muse Gallery. Big shout out, Muse, to Damien and all the crew. 269 Portobello Road.
In fact, as we're talking about girls, let's big up Gosha. Let's big up Estelle.
All those beautiful women.
Who are other wonderful girls who hang around?
In fact, let's
here,
big up this very beautiful woman with a striking pink hair that's sitting here. Dinny is so lucky. I mean, how did you get a woman that looks that good?
He's obviously paying her.
Obviously.
I'm being naughty. I'm being so naughty. So naughty.
Big up to all the beautiful women.
Yes, indeed.
It's International Women's
Absolutely.
Month.
Yeah, man. Isn't it just?
Yes, it's International Women's Month. You're listening to Portobello Radio. We are going to carry on celebrating women, strong women, local women.
Every kind of woman.
I think we should be prepared to celebrate horrible women.
Yeah.
Like Margaret Thatcher. You want to celebrate her, do you?
Well, maybe not her.
And Shirley, what was the one that sold the
I
house?
would be ungallant.
No. Shirley
for me
Valentine's
to
a good woman.
suggest.
Yeah, she is.
No, Piers, what's the name
It
of
would
that
be
woman that was part of Westminster Council, the cash for houses?
What?
The dodgy one,
You
Shirley
don't
something.
mean Shirley Valentine, you mean Shirley Cohen.
Cohen.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
No, it wasn't
No,
Cohen.
it doesn't sound like that.
Porter.
either.
Porter. Dame Shirley
There you go.
Porter.
We got there in the end, blimey.
It took a while, but
It
it
did.
gives me a good segue.
Edwina Curry, the old witch.
our
You're going
next
to big her
guest
up, are you?
is- Our next guest is Talitha Wing. She's not here yet, but she will be here in a minute. She is
you sound confident. I
working
like this.
with the Playground Theatre.
Oh, bro.
And the Playground Theatre is where they did the play about Shirley Porter.
Oh,
3 or
well
4
done,
years.
Piers.
Yeah.
Do you know something? This man can always make a link.
Stop bigging him up, man.
Well, it's International Women's Month. It's the only time I'm going to big Piers up. The rest of the
guess
year, I'm
you're
going to
right.
cuss
I'm
it.
like
Yeah.
that guy. What's he called? I'm like that guy Ken Bruce, who's been thrown off Radio 2 for being too old.
Oh,
Another tune
not
now,
at all.
country girl.
Well,
Not
people
at
know how much
all.
I love this man.
Yeah, man. Oh, yes.
China girl. I hear her heart beating loud as thunder. So the stars crashing. I'm a mess without my little China girl. Wake up in the morning, where's my little China girl? I hear hearts beating loud as thunder. I saw the stars crashing down. I've been tragic like I'm Marlon Brando. When I look at my China girl, I could pretend nothing really meant too much. When I look at my China girl. Town, just like a sacred cow. Visions of swastikas in my head, plans for everyone. It's in the way of my eyes. My little child girl, you shouldn't mess with me. I'll ruin everything you are. You know, I'll give you television. I'll give you eyes of blue. I'll give you a man who wants to rule the world. And when I get excited, my little China girl says, oh baby, just you shut your mouth. She said, shh. She said,
Yeah, that probably needs no introduction. I mean, who was it? It was none other than the wonderful David Bowie.
David
Yeah,
Bowie.
man, we
We're just
love
trying to
David
work out. We do.
Bowie.
We're big fans. I was trying to work out if it came out in like 82, 81, something like that. Because it's
Possibly.
off, like Piers correctly said, it's off Scary Monsters Super Creep. So I'm not
It
sure.
is.
Sure what year that came out.
I'm pretty sure that was 82 because
It's about 82, wasn't
Yeah, I
it?
think you're right. Yeah, it was
I
early
remember
80s.
playing it on
yeah.
the way to a dirty weekend in Rye in
And I remember being an innocent
1982.
16-year-old virgin.
Ouch.
So yeah.
Ouch. And I remember it from the Serious Moonlight tour. He played it live.
And I went
There
to
you
that.
go.
I saw
Come
him twice, man. I went to
on.
Rotterdam,
Come
and I
on.
also saw him at Milton Keynes.
I
Golf.
saw him at Milton Keynes, so we were
Yeah,
at
we
the
were
same
both
gig,
there.
man.
Oh my God.
Mental.
You
There
were- you were a
go.
little thing,
I
weren't
was
you?
very, very small indeed. Yes,
Oh.
very small.
I might have fancied
Brilliant,
you
man.
then.
You never know. You never know.
All right, get a room, you two. Or get a bus.
Bus.
We are
Bus.
tonight-
Bus.
We have a couple of things to announce that are not connected with International
Woman.
Women's Month, which is one,
Yeah.
Portobello Radio is going to be creating a soundscape celebrating the past, present, and future
Yeah, man.
of Latimer, which, as most of you will know, is the area north bit of Nottingdale
To the west of Ladbroke Grove.
that essentially
The roughneck ends,
Not
basically,
the
where
roughneck end,
Piers
not the
lives,
roughneck end
where
between
Piers
the
lives, yeah.
railway and the west
The wrong
way.
side of the
Yeah, man.
tracks.
The wrong
But
side of the
essentially, it's
track.
made of two predominant estates down there: the Silchester and the
and
Lancaster.
Lancaster West.
And we're going to be conjoining the two.
But
are
it
we
is
not?
also the area, of course, that the legendary, now very, very famous Frestonia was located.
Frestonia, the
Absolutely.
Notting Hill riots,
Huge.
the pigs and the pottery.
The potteries and the
history.
piggeries.
Yeah, man.
It is the crucible of Notting Hill history.
It is, in fact, the actual area that Henry Dickens referred to as the most.
No, it was Charles Dickens.
Charles Dickens, not
as-
Henry. Would I say Henry
Yeah,
Dickens?
Yeah.
no,
Charles
many,
Dickens.
many social commentators have described it as the least salubrious area in London.
Exactly.
Charles
There you
It was
go.
Booth,
proper rough.
There you
Charles
go.
Dickens.
translate
Anyway, come and celebrate it with us during
Yeah.
Kensington Chelsea Art Week on
Yeah.
the 24th and 25th of June.
There you go. Something massive to look forward to
And
there.
the other art thing
It's
we're
going to be
involved-
really urban, BTW. Super urban.
Yeah.
You guys are going to love it.
I
It's
think
mental.
most of our listeners are urban.
Yeah, well,
Even
kind of.
those listening far away in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Russian Federation and in the United States right now.
I was going to say big
up
up to our lovely fans in the US, big up to our wonderful fans in Australia, big up to Matt, actually, who's recently bought a T-shirt from us, big up to Niall as well, my beautiful old flatmate out there in Melbourne, and loads of other family and friends out on those sunnier sides of the world, both east and west. Love
Yeah.
it, absolutely.
Well,
love
we're
it.
awaiting Tellith, who's going to tell us about the Greensboro play. Greensboro.
As in Greensboro, South
Yeah.
Carolina.
Oh,
Yeah.
maybe
I
it's
think
Tabitha.
it's-
Just
Tabitha.
walks through the door. We like what
Yay.
exquisite timing. I love that. Mental.
Please grab a seat.
Yeah,
we'll
man.
play a quick tune celebrating International Women's Day, and we will talk to Talitha in a minute.
In just a min. I love it. Absolutely love it. Brilliant.
Let's go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's Gabara. I seen heaven. Seriously. She is from round the way.
One there, Gregsy.
love
Of
it.
course, that was the wonderful Gappy Rank.
Yeah, man.
That
was
her eyes.
beautiful.
And
I need a
shout
copy of that. I
Big
so need a
shout
copy
out to
of that.
Gappy as well, because he had a stroke some years ago. Sadly, one of his nephews was brutally killed.
Yeah.
In Harlesden, and he had a stroke, and he's recovered and he's recording again. So
Big
so
up.
overcoming adversity. Beautiful.
Amazing. Strong man.
Big
we
man.
would love to welcome Talitha Wing. Hi, Talitha. How are you
nice
doing?
to see you.
Fantastic.
And
to have-
something I've discovered about her is that she's not African American.
No,
No, I'm not African American.
There's no accent.
Portobello
going on.
Radio,
No.
you're there to come for your fake news.
Yeah.
Talitha, you do everything. You're an actor. You're
Yes.
a riot. You're not a riot.
I am a riot as well. Yeah, I'm
A
a
writer
writer
and
as
a
well. Yeah,
poet.
A poet. Yeah.
We might go on to that in a minute.
Okay.
Because you've got some fantastic credits. But you are
Yes.
here because of the Playground Lank West Well-Read Initiative, which
Yes.
is happening next week.
Yes. So I'm from the Playground Theatre, and 50% of our work there now is sort of charitable community outreach. And we've just started a new program called We Start, which is for any kind of artists in the Lank West neighbourhood or North Kensington neighbourhood. We basically just want to hear from you. We want you to come and get involved. We're making a documentary film, A Day in the Life of a Resident. We've got some...
That's with Sion, right?
Yeah. We've got some career workshops. We've got some poetry workshops, writing workshops. So lots of really exciting stuff. But next week, we've got something super, super exciting. So Emily Mann, who is one of kind of the big shot American verbatim theatre makers, is coming to the Playground. And we are doing a community play reading of her play, Greensboro, A Requiem. And we're going to be reading that together at the Playground on the 9th of March. We'd love to have as many people there as possible, whether you'd like to, if you're part of the community and you would like to read, or if you would just like to come and watch.
It's interactive. We could come.
Yes, all of you. I hope all of you come, yes.
All right. So
I want to know a little bit about the context of the play, though. 'Cause
Yes.
Obviously, Greensboro is
It was a
in
massacre.
Carolina.
Yes.
And I can't remember, is it South or North Carolina now? But
Greensboro was about 1979, and there were two
But no, it's
demonstrations.
a famous area in America, in Carolina. I can't remember if it's North Carolina,
Yeah.
where there's a lot of racial issues going
Yeah.
on.
Well, there were quite a lot of racial. The Carolinas were quite
The
hot
Carolinas are pretty
racially.
racial, yes.
They were
yes.
quite racial.
So a little bit about
the play
yeah.
has obviously got some kind of really, really quite serious themes. It's verbatim, and it's about a massacre by some protesters, and the massacre was done by the KKK to some protesters. So it's very deep. But what I find really interesting about Emily Mann and her work is because it's verbatim. We are literally hearing the words of the people who were there at the time.
So the
talking.
process is about going out and speaking to the affected community.
So she collected
testimonies,
words from the
Contemporary
time, from
reports
the
from-
spoken, and she put them all together and collated them in a play. So we're going to do that, but before we start, we are going to have sort of a discussion with the audience around triggering language and how we can, that it maybe doesn't need to be spoken now, and how we can sort of deal with
Are
all
we
of
talking
those
about the
themes.
N-word?
Yes. Yes.
The N-word is obviously one issue.
No, but that's a huge
No,
issue.
it is a big issue. But I wanted to, in a way, to move on to the subject matter of the play, which there were two demonstrations against each other.
Yeah.
And the KKK pulled out their rifles and shot 5 people dead. I was reading it on Wikipedia, actually. They mentioned that 4 were people of colour. They were kind of really unclear about the 5th person. In a way, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you've got a situation where people in a hatred situation kill each other. I mean, that is pretty triggering in a way.
Yes, of course. No, that is really kind of awful, and unfortunately still happens all around the world in different
particularly in
contexts
America
today. Yes.
It all happened in 88 seconds, didn't it?
Yes, it's and I think sort of the play kind of explores the views of the people around that time, and we want to open up a conversation about where that was, where we are now, And we want to hear really from the voices. I mean, there'll be people there. Emily Mann herself obviously knows the play, knows the testimonies inside out. It's also live streaming to New York.
Wow.
So there'll be an audience in
brilliant.
New York as well. Yeah, so it's really exciting. But obviously there's also
whereabouts?
going to be people. I'm not sure exactly whereabouts it's streaming to. I just know that we've got a connection with her in New York. So we're going to be streaming it there. But yeah, there'll be people coming along who sort of haven't maybe even heard of Greensboro. But we just want to start a conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I'd heard of it, obviously, but I didn't really know what it was. So I urge you to have a quick look at Wikipedia.
Are we thinking of it in the context of protest and what that means for us here, maybe in the UK? Because with the rise of the right and the restrictions, you know, the new, all the legislation, does that mean in a way almost that we are potentially at risk of not maybe being shot down by whatever the right-wing group are over here, but maybe...
Yeah, there's always there's sort of a nervousness and a danger, I think, around protesting. I mean, as we've seen over the last 3 years with all the COVID stuff and everything like that. So I think it will be hopefully open up a conversation around that and then maybe make space for a wider conversation as well at some point.
I'm quite interested in how people can get involved, because there's loads of people we just in a jocular way said, oh, we'll come and do it.
Yeah.
But I can see myself at 5:30 on Thursday going, oh,
yes.
I'm not so sure.
Yes.
Can I pre-book?
Yes.
Like,
So
I want to be the third guy on the left.
Yeah,
or?
you can email us at wellread@theplayground.org.uk. Or you can phone the box office at the theatre, and that number is 0208 960 0110. But all of that is on the website. You can also follow us on Instagram at theplayground_community.
So I could register my interest in
Yeah,
being in
definitely.
it, and that might. So
Yeah,
do
you
it,
can
people.
come and be a reader, definitely.
And
yeah.
we don't have to do a American... I do the really terrible American accent. I love doing it, but
I
no
mean,
American accents
you can
needed.
if you want to. I'm sure that some of the actors will definitely be wanting to give it a go. I mean, I'm definitely going to give it a go if
but you're an
I
actor,
get the
you're
chance
trained.
to read. But just, I mean, it's not. We're not, looking for the most kind of polished performance. It's more just about getting everyone in a room together. Yeah. And we've also got a workshop the day before on the 8th at 3:30 at Baseline Studios Unit 1, which is a storytelling workshop with Emily Mann, who is the theatre maker and the writer of the
And that's the biggest unit, people. We're broadcast from Unit 1, so we know how big it is.
Coming back, is the storytelling workshop for... Emily's going to tell stories, or is it also for the participants to tell their own stories?
Yeah,
as well?
I think it's talking about how we can tell stories, and if we have a story to tell, what kind of ways we can do that. And obviously she's an expert storyteller, so she'll kind of be there to guide people through, and I'm going to be there as well, like kind of trying to get as much knowledge as I can.
Well, I know we're part of a... it's not around that much longer, but we're part of an arts collective, and we've done some storytelling events ourselves in Powers Square, which always went down
And don't
really
forget,
well.
storytelling can take a million different versions. We recently featured the show here by Anton, was it? The show where the lady Antonia had gathered personal memories and turned them into those plaques on the wall.
Absolutely.
And then we've had our fantastic John Titi storyteller. He's fantastic from Kenya.
From Kenyan,
He's come in and actually told stories that are based on Kenyan stories, history,
a wonderful
culture,
tradition that the
exactly,
Kenyans keep going now. Yeah, he's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Isis, will you play a tune? Tell us. I'd love to talk to you about your career.
Yeah,
in a
definitely.
moment.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely stay on for
because you are very high caliber, and the Playground Theatre and Lank West have managed to get you involved. So it must be worth it for everyone.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, this is maybe not the greatest celebration of women, but it's kind of.
what's in your face really shows your age. But that don't worry me none. In my eyes you're everything. I laughed at all of your jokes. My love you didn't need to coax. Oh Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. You led me away from home just to save you from being alone. You stole my soul and that's a pain I can do without. All I needed was a friend to lend a guiding hand. But you turned into a lover and mother. What a lover, you wore me out. All you did was wreck my bed, and in the morning kick me in the head. Oh Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. You led me away from home, 'cause you didn't wanna be alone. You stole my heart, I couldn't leave you if I tried. I suppose I could collect my books and get on back to school, or steal my daddy's cue and make a living out of playing fool, or find myself a rock and roll band that needs a helping hand. Oh Maggie, I wished I'd never seen your face. You made a first-class fool out of me, but I'm as blind as a fool can be. You stole my heart, but I love you anyway.
Too much.
Generated so much conversation.
Yeah. Innit?
So
Innit?
is
I
the
like
question
that.
is it celebrating women, or is it about the fact that this young man's been used by an old cougar and he's basically had enough now?
I don't know. Please write in.
So maybe he's celebrating
that
she taught him a lot, and now he's on to get somebody of his
whatever
own
you
age.
think, get in touch with us
tell
via
us.
the WhatsApp message, via Twitter, or any of those other social media things.
Yes.
We're here with Talitha Wing. Talitha Wing is part of Greensboro Requiem at Playground Theatre next week, a community event. We just talked about it. Talitha, I mean, you're doing really well as an actress.
Thank
You're
you so much.
a writer, a poet.
Yeah.
How did you end up in Latimer Road?
Wow, it's a long story. So, I was actually born in Austria, so I grew up there until I was about 8, and then I moved to the UK, and I just had always loved kind of like dancing and acting, and that was kind of like when I first moved to England, it was kind of my language, my way of sort of getting involved when I hadn't grown up here. So German was my first language.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Yeah. And so that was sort of doing all those dance clubs and drama clubs was sort of my way of connecting with everybody. And then I just got older and I trained with National Youth Theatre and I went to drama school and I graduated from drama school and then I started acting professionally. And alongside that, I was writing poetry from a really young age and kind of got to a point in my early 20s where I had this whole stash of poems and decided to get them published. So it's been a journey, but it's been fun.
Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds amazing. I mean, you've been in The Feed, Alex Rider, in Wolf.
Yes.
You're the lead in a big show coming up. I know you're not really allowed to talk about it.
Yes.
You've got an agent for your poetry, an agent. I mean, speak as, a old white man. In my day, young women didn't have the confidence. They didn't have the breadth.
I don't know about that.
They probably had the ability, but they...
No, stop.
Okay.
Right there, Piers. Young women always had the confidence. They always had the breath. But what the problem was...
The
we didn't have
opportunity,
we didn't have the
open
access.
Doors.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think a lot has changed. I think there's still a really long way to go. Like, it's definitely difficult and it does sort of take you banging on those doors over and over and over again to get them opened. But I think, especially with my poetry, it kind of talks about all of that. So it's all about me growing up in a, when I moved to Newbury, I remember I was the only child of colour in my class, in my school. And that experience, and then growing up and going to an industry which, didn't have that much diversity when I first got into it. So all of that is kind of explored through my poetry, and I'm just really proud to be, like a young woman of colour.
But have you seen it changing? Because obviously I'm old enough to be a mother.
Yeah.
Deaf easily. And when I came to this country, I'm obviously a woman of African heritage as well, mixed heritage.
Yeah.
The things you're talking about, the school I went to, there was literally like 3 of us who were like girls of African heritage in the entire school, the first school I went to. So I went through all that in the 70s before you were even a thought.
Yes.
And but
yes.
To hear that happening for somebody so young, are things changing in your lifetime?
I think they are. I think it's definitely slowly but surely. I think there is a push for diversity, but I think what's really important is it's not just about putting people of colour on TV or in books. It's also about the fact that they should be telling stories that are joy and celebratory rather than kind of pain and trauma. Like, I think,
but also authentic.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've noticed that since the Black Lives Matter thing, that every advert you see, there's a person of African heritage. I use the term African heritage.
Yes.
But it doesn't add anything if there's no authenticity to it. Or like you say, there's no real voice, no story.
Yeah, I guess it's not just doing it, it's about why you're doing it and how you're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. What... Are you still shooting the thing for...
So I finished shooting last year, so hopefully that will come out in May or June of this year, and I've just been auditioning and hopefully got some exciting projects coming up this year, and I'm also working on a play and my second poetry book, so quite busy, as well as teaching and facilitating at the playground, which I love equally. So
actually, you didn't answer the question. How did you end up at the playground?
So I have always loved to do like workshop facilitating. I worked for another company and they had a connection with the playground, and then they were looking at running a 2-week children's program at the playground, and they asked me if I'd like to facilitate, and I jumped at the chance.
Brilliant. No, it's a fantastic place, fantastic food, fantastic auditorium, fantastic people, fantastic sound.
And also I just love the fact that they give ordinary people from the community a chance to get involved.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we do it, really, because there's so much talent, there's so many amazing ideas in the community, and we just want to find a way of bringing that all to the surface.
Yeah, that's great. Talitha, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Is there a URL? Is there a social media handle that we should get in touch with for Greensboro?
Yes, so it's at the playground_community. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And what about
follow us
you,
there.
so we can follow your career?
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram. It's just at talitha.wing. And hopefully I'll be posting about some of my work on there soon. So yeah.
Cool.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Amazing. Who's got you?
I have.
Yay, thanks, Talitha.
Oh, Susanna, I hope you're happy now. I see you flexing on the ground with your sponsor. Susanna, I hope you're happy now. I see you change your skin color and your hair is longer now. Na kuona bali hapo kando ya Champs-Elysees, ukitesa na kamini none of my business. And I see you in London, silicone on your bum, shaking what your doctor gave ya. On your worst behavior, Susanna Vande. If you get to hear this song, somebody loves you. Susanna Vande. Hello. Change your mind and come back home. Somebody loves you. Tabia shepu ni majaliwa, ila wengi walinyimwa tabia na shepu kabarikiwa. Mwanamme hisia, pesa ni majaliwa, ila wengi walinyimwa hisia na pesa kabarikiwa. Na kuona Brazil, hapo Rio de Janeiro, ukiongezewa nywele senje, none of my business. And I see you in China with the latest designer, shaking what your doctor gave ya. On your worst behavior, Susanna Vande. Hello. If you get to hear this song, somebody loves you. Susanna Vande. Hello. Change your mind and come back home. Somebody loves you. Aisenje nakosa usingizi usiku kucha mina dua. Aisenje akilini moyoni bado we wanizuzua. When are you coming home Senje? Tell me are you on your way? Kife tukipendana Kiromeo na Julia. Aisenje nakosa usingizi usiku kucha mina dua. Aisenje akilini moyoni bado we wanizuzua. When are you coming home, Senje? Tell me, are you on your way? Kife tukipendana, Kiromeo na Julia. I Senje Bane, Senje. Hello. If you get to hear this song, Senje, come somebody on. Loves you. Oh, Senje. Hello. Change your mind and come back home. Somebody loves you.
I like the song that ends with a
Yeah, and don't forget you hear it first on Portobello Radio.
Always.
Talitha Wing is about to become a huge star. She's Destiny in the full
We're
Monty,
not allowed to say
which
that.
is coming out on Disney Plus.
No,
in
you're
May.
not allowed to say any of that.
I
So
am.
naughty.
It's on her website.
Oh, is it? Oh, right, fair enough.
She couldn't talk about it, but we like to. She's going to be a big star on Disney Plus.
They're all crowding
That's
around
all I wanted
Piers'
to say.
computer. I love it. Brilliant.
Anyway,
Brilliant.
that is the Playground Theatre
Yeah.
at Latimer Road.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Opposite the old Dimitri's.
Indeed.
So I just hi there. How are you? Sorry, I've forgotten your name.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn.
Jocelyn does the social media on the bus a little bit for us and for the Muse. How you find it working here?
I mean, I live in Portobello Road, and I just love Muse a lot, so that's why I'm trying to apply.
So it's not really work; it's just you coming into your local area.
Yeah, it's like working but having fun as well, you know.
So tell us, we're here at the Muse. We do our best to promote it. Christos, he was in the gallery. Christos Tsimaris, fabulous. We put him on the radio. How do people keep in touch with all the amazing things going on at the Muse Gallery?
It's exciting, and I feel attractive for young artists or young professionals to join with gallery. It's a good option.
How should they follow the Muse? On Instagram, on Facebook?
Yeah, on Instagram, just follow.
It's coming.
It's coming. Please follow Muse at 269 on Instagram.
Yeah.
Muse
the
at
Muse,
269.
it's the front of everything good from
Amazing,
around
Jocelyn.
here.
Thank you so much. She's a new addition to the team, been on board for the last
and she was
few
on
weeks. On the most amazing art bus we had last weekend. She was spectacular, and
and you can hear the artist studio visits on Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Is that when we're going to release that?
Yeah, no, we got the files from James.
Amazing,
so we're
brilliant.
On our way. So the art bus, which, as you know, has been going for 4 years. We used to travel the galleries of West London. We've been to Dalston. We've been to Brixton. Most recently, we started doing studio visits.
We did. It was brilliant. Absolutely superb. Thanks to Stephen Howie, amongst others, for introducing us to so many galleries the other side of London.
And the next one is on April the 1st.
Yeah, man. It's a performing arts special. So I think we might have Christos Distropoulos.
Well, we're going to have Philippos on it.
Sorry, that's
for
it.
sure.
I think I'll come on and do some poetry.
Yeah.
I think we may need a bit more performative than that.
Poetry. I mean, is it not
unless you got
performative
a
enough?
troupe of mime artists behind you.
Can I not just turn it into all kind of hands waving and all of that sort of thing?
Bring on the cake.
Ladies and gentlemen, is spoken word performance, or is it just someone droning on?
No.
Don't.
OMG, the man just insulted me just like that.
Oh, no, he didn't
Just
insult
like
you.
that.
He insulted everybody who has ever written any poetry. He's dreadful, isn't he? Hey.
Anyway, if you want more combative chats, battles of the sexes, keep tuning in to Portobello Radio for the month of March, where we're celebrating International Women's
People,
Day.
there's no battle. The women win hands down.
We gave that. Oh no, we're fighting a rearguard guerrilla action.
Absolutely love it. Listen, guys and girls, we're nearly out of time, which is a shame because we've loved entertaining you and we've loved you listening to us and we've loved shouting at each
through
other.
the weekend.
So indeed,
events.
we have Saturday sessions coming up right on your doorstep tomorrow, kicking off with this show at midday. My God! So if you've just tuned in right now and you want to hear it from the beginning, then midday tomorrow, Saturday, or indeed if this is Saturday, well, here we go.
Yeah, don't just keep
then
on with the schedule.
Yeah, absolutely.
2 p.m. after this show on Saturday is Saturday Sessions. Our weekly lineup of fabulous DJs,
Absolutely.
international, some from abroad, some from round the corner, some incredibly famous, some just
Absolutely. We have kicking it all off with Lilybud, of course. Lilybud's weekend is hot on the desk.
That
Love
is
that.
adult contemporary pop. People love it, actually. We slightly disapprove
It's not
of
just
it.
contemporary.
No, some old ones. A bit of Fleetwood
No, I was
Mac.
going to say she chucks in some modern ones as well. So she's
Contemporary
a young...
is modern.
Oh,
Modern?
yeah, sorry.
Modern?
Yeah. She chucks in loads of old
Can
stuff
we get
as
the
well.
next guy in?
No. Moving on. Sonido Santo with Carlos de la Cruz. Amazing. It's going to be at 1500 hours, otherwise known as 3 o'clock.
That was salsa. He's regularly at the top of particularly the Dura salsa chart.
Love it,
That's
absolutely
pretty well
love it.
in the
He's
salsa
mental,
chart.
absolutely mental. Pandiva is presenting her happy
You
hour.
met her this afternoon.
Bang, doing Caribbean women, amongst other things. It's going to be
Soca
brilliant.
women, yeah.
Absolutely.
I
Soca
love
divas.
Caribbean women.
the
we all
happy
do.
hour.
We all love
We
Caribbean
are the
women.
best.
Oh my
Come on,
God.
who's on at 5?
And then Barcodes, or indeed Loose, or
Loose and Nico.
and Nico Day. Yeah, man. We're not too sure exactly who's going to throw us a set this time round, but we're looking forward to it anyway. That's 1700 hours, the hip hop hour.
And Neville at 6, Neville Hyde, 40-something disco. He'll be on fire because he's got a disco on the 17th.
Disco, which he says is already sold out. So listen, if you want to go, then I think you've got to try and turn up on the night early, really early, and then you might get in. But Maxilla is full
definitely
to the brim. It's
just
mental.
in case you miss out, listen tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Get some flavour. Get some flavour. 7 o'clock is a newbie on the block. A Colombian DJ called DJ Little D.
Little D.
She is amazing, absolutely amazing. I'm looking
house
for a little
DJ.
tiny bit of her
So
set.
probably a little bit of cumbia in it, but it's mainly it's not polo, merengue, and cumbia. It's house music from Colombia. Is it Bogota?
I think you're right. It is Bogota. Yes, Little D from Bogota, which is wonderful, absolutely wonderful. We had Chanta DJ a few years ago. She was absolutely spectacular. So we love that part of the world. We love our Colombian cousins. It's going to be spectacular with a little tiny twist of Latin, I reckon, house and a bit of Latin. Bro, absolutely bro. All of that shizzliz is repeated again on Sunday, but prior to that, earlier on Sunday morning, we've got the repeat of this show at 8 o'clock. So there you go. If you're listening on Saturday, then you can listen again at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning, followed by Dick O'Dell's Adventures in Music.
Yeah, he's doing Daft Funk.
Yeah, Daft Funk indeed.
He was on last night in Walthamstow and couldn't do the show
so we're
for
repeating.
this Sunday. So we're repeating one of his adventures in music,
which is just
Daft Funk,
absolutely the best.
which obviously he has.
Yeah, man.
ISIS's beloved David Bowie. It has
man.
Parliament. It has.
It has all sorts.
All kind
it's
of
brilliant,
things.
absolutely brilliant. And then, of course, it's Clash Fans Against the Right. No, Clash Fans Against the Right on midday.
That was a great show. I listened on Wednesday.
Pat Gilbert. Absolutely superb.
Mojo, Enemy, all those sort of things.
Man.
And he was really charming. And Robin Banks, ex-Clash roadie, suddenly came up with they've done about 15, 20 shows. Suddenly a whole load of new anecdotes no one had heard.
It was brilliant. It was spectacular. I told him it was great that it was only Robin and lovely Dr. Louise Raw who presented the show. So it was a smaller room, and it gave Robin far more of a platform, and he really stood up to the mark.
But we'd like to wish
brilliant.
Richard David all the best.
Absolutely. Richard David, the original leader of the Clash Fans Against the Right show, is sadly a little bit under the weather.
Confined to bed.
Yeah, man.
Confined to home.
So, if you decide to take a
Here we
little
go.
teeny weeny break-a-rooney from Portobello Radio on Saturday,
nearly not allowed.
the eclectic goddess, I'm back in the studio on Fairity Radio, 4 to 6 with the Speak Your Truth show, and my very special guest is a local young woman from south of the borough. She's 14 years old. So, girl, you could say young woman, by the name of Isabella. And she's gonna co-host with me. So I'm going to start off my International Women's Month specials with a young teenage girl from the local area, sharing what it's like to live in her world. Because I've been off for Fairity because we've got a brand new Roadcaster mixing desk. It looks really high-tech.
Yeah,
it's
man.
in place, and I've got to learn how to use it. So looking forward to that.
Oh wow! So you're going to be tutored tomorrow. I like that.
Well, I got to learn myself.
Yeah, well, exactly. Someone's
But big
got
shout
to.
out to my people at Fairity Radio, and
Indeed.
big shout out to Freestyle.
Freestyle!
Thanks for getting our new equipment in situ.
Yeah, man, we love Freestyle. He's top banana. He really is good value. Love it, absolutely love it.
Thank you for listening. You've been listening to the Portobello Radio Show. I think it's EP 382. It comes live and direct from the Muse at 269 Portobello Radio. We're sitting in the midst of Christos Samaris' show. I think there'll be a new one next time we're here.
Oh, cool. Really? They're going to have a switch over next week, are they?
Yeah, I'm pretty
brilliant.
sure.
Absolutely brilliant. Have a fabulous beginning of International Women's Month. And we'll catch up with you guys.
Be good to women.
Yeah, everybody. It should be, it should all, we shouldn't even
Everyone
need
should
to
be
say
good
that.
to everyone, but
Say
the
it
fact that we have to.
should be legal.
I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
Yeah.
Right, on that
Shall
tip.
I play us out with something?
Yeah, go on.
This is a
if you like.
really old one going back to when I was a Utan ting.
Yeah. Lovely. You guys have a wonderful weekend. You take care of yourselves, and we'll look forward to catching up with you on the other side. Remember, keep it locked. www.portobelloradio.com.